Hello everyone. Today we are having Mr. Vishnu, CEO and founder of the Machenn Innovations. Welcome, Vishnu.
Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for Abdul.
Yeah, it would be great if you can give a brief introduction about yourself and the company you are running.
Yeah, sure. It'll be my pleasure to introduce my company to you and your audience. I've been following you for I think like almost a year or so, and since Biomedical Group started, you've been doing a tremendous job, and congratulations and thank you so much for that. First of all.
Thank you.
And as you introduced, my name is Vishnu. I'm heading the position as CEO and founder of Man Innovations. So basically, I completed my biomedical engineering in the year 2017, and I worked for almost 3 months in Chennai, and I shifted to Bombay. I worked for almost 2 years in Bombay, Bangalore, and Coimbatore for a single company. I was basically into infrastructure, setting up of labs, and establishment of laboratory, basically into IVD labs, and also PET CT, and radiographic labs. So that was what my profile started with. And then there was something which always called in, and we wanted to find our own path. And I thought of starting my own company in the year 2019. And we ran it for a year, and we had to close it down due to COVID. Like as we all understand, we had to close it down. And then we started as a private limited company again in 2020. Almost a year later, like we started it, and we thought of building. What Man Innovations is doing is Man Innovations is building a virtual reality based healthcare equipment platform. Say imagine yourself going to a hospital, and you have a surgery tomorrow. Okay, you're just lying in the surgery bed, and the doctor says, hey, I haven't used this equipment so far, I'm using it for the first time. You'll get frightened, right? So we're just bridging this small gap in the doctor, equipment, or healthcare professional and the equipment thing with virtual reality, so that we can make it more interactive, more immersive, and haptic feedback. So that is what Man Innovations is doing. And apart from that, we also deal with 3D printing, advanced manufacturing technologies, and we also do a bit of R&D work here and there.
Okay, so before moving further, I just want to know what inspired to start your own company. I know it's very young age for you to start a company, so it would be great if you can share about that and the thought process behind starting your own company.
Yeah, so maybe like inspirations is I don't know, like where does I couldn't find one single inspiration, because like every day was an inspiration for me, like in terms of starting the startup and building things. Every day was an inspiration. Every day, even today, like I'm getting inspired by Abdul, or there are a lot of people who inspire us every day, right? So maybe like just in case to find our own path, and just to say like I wanted to study biomedical engineering when I was in the 11th standard. I decided to become a biomedical engineer when I was in 11th standard. It was not an accidental engineering for me. It was a planned, highly planned engineering for me, at least. Then like after you get into a job and you're not finding it faster, so like that is one thing which always disturbed me internally, and I thought of starting that. And thought process was very simple, because I was very young then, and even today, like I'm not that young, but yeah, still I'm young. So the thought process was maybe, if I had to talk about the thought process, I was just thinking of one thing, that I wanted to be to be called as a biomedical engineer someday, who has built and contributed to the society in a bigger way. So that was one single thought process, which is still continuously going on to my mind and our team's mind. Even everybody who does this and has a passion towards healthcare, and if you wanted to serve people, you always come up with something new. So that is what is a thought process. And yes, it was not easy. Like as everybody, nothing is easy, right? Nothing comes easy. Nothing is hard as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
so how was the initial team building whenever starting our own company, getting the right people and getting the right support, even maybe financial support? How was all this during your time?
Yeah. So, when you see our roadmap, no, like we started 1 or 1.5 years before COVID, and we restarted it during COVID. So we had the privilege to leverage COVID as much as possible. So truly, like speaking, we started with one. Like I started it as a one employee, and then it became two, and we stayed two for almost 6 or 7 months, and then we changed it to three, and now we are almost about 10 plus 2, 12. Okay, so like team building, yes, you understand being in a startup. identifying the right personality to bring in is very difficult, because we get the right skills. It's okay. There are people who have a lot of skills, and being a startup, we can't afford to pay huge salaries as well. So it's only thing is like we can find people who are passionate towards solving problems, passionate towards binding with the company. And yes, fortunately for us, even today, like we have team people who are like who work day and night, who work intensely towards the goals of the company, and not towards they don't wait for monthly salaries, they don't wait for incentives. They, or the only thing is they want the company to grow. Everybody in the company wants the company to grow, and it happened fortunately. And maybe because we've been identifying people who are more passionate than skilled. Because if you are passionate, no, like if you have interest towards something, you'll definitely have the capability to learn things, is what we have identified in these many years.
Okay. Other than the employees that you are having with you, is there any other support, maybe incubators, anything you have received?
Yes. Yes, like I think like as we started, like we wanted it to start it right. No, like when I completed, when I decided to resign and came back and started ran the company for a year and had to close it down. One mistake and one learning which we had is just to understand the process of businesses, how businesses work, how things work. So we got support from a lot of other institutions, including top premium institutions of the country, IIM Udaipur, IIM Kashipur. We are also incubated by Nehru Group of Institutions, Technology Business Incubator, and now we are getting supported by Octane, Software Technology Parks of India, supported by Mighty, and we are also being supported by DST, Department of Science and Technology. I think like there is a huge support system which keeps us moving forward in terms of growth, in terms of sustaining and surviving. Like I think like it's not us alone, it's always the support system which is around us. And obviously like when you talk about the support system, the major support which I get or the team gets is from the family and friends. See, like unless or until a family supports you, you can never build your own company, build your own career even. So if you had to invest something, if you had to invest time and money in something, like you'll have to have a huge support system. So I think even in that case, like we've been very fortunate.
Okay, as I'm doing different kind of videos, there are many students or aspirants used to reach me or asking whether you can do video on those who are running companies or what are the challenges, all those kind of things. And I just want to know what are the support these incubators are providing to you or what support they can expect.
Yeah. So say for example, if you wanted to start a startup, no, like even today I advise something to everybody who ask me like, should I start a startup? Like one thing is starting is very easy, but running, scaling and sustaining, no, like you'll have to, startup is not a 1 day job or a 3 day job. Like if you're building a company, it takes 10-15 years to build it. As today GE, if GE is 100 years old, it started somewhere very small. So that is why GE is GE today, or Siemens is Siemens today. So to build that, you'll have to have a lot of patience and experience. Okay. And where to gain this experience is one question. That is where these incubators come into play. Incubators, there are 3 stages. Okay. Like one stage is pre-incubation, and then it is incubation, and then it is acceleration. So let's pre-incubation. And when you have an idea, you can just go like nurture your idea, like identify what are the things. Then you go for incubation, wherein you understand the financial aspects of it, business aspects of it. They help you with a lot of credits as well, not only like training you, they also give you a lot of credits to access. Say like you get AWS credits, you get a lot of credits. Even from the Startup India portal alone, you get access to almost you can run a business free for a year if you wanted to start startup. Today's ecosystem gives you the leverage to run a startup completely from scratch, free for at least a year. And you also get tax benefits being a startup. And I think like start ecosystem is being enabled, and yes, it is getting stronger every day, though like there are a lot of fluctuations though, but it is getting better and improving day by day.
Yeah, of course, there are a lot of opportunities to get support from this kind of ventures. Okay, of course, when
Yes.
we are starting something, of course, there will be many challenges as well. So, can you just explain which are the challenges you face during this entire process?
Yeah. So starting up for me was very simple. Okay. Like for me, like starting up was very simple. As I told you, like starting up is simple, but surviving, no, like every month you'll have to pass on. Every month you'll have to pass on. Say, for example, if you have an average expense of 4 to 5 lakhs a month, you'll have to survive with 4 to 5 lakhs, right? You can't expect 10 lakhs and nobody would come and give you, hey, like keep 5 lakhs, I'll buy it 10 years later. Nobody would do that. And taking care of the financial expenses, personal expenses and personal finances was very difficult for me initially. Now it is getting better, and I don't say like I've been financially stable and I have a Benz or BMW outside my office. I wouldn't say that. Maybe in some years I would do that. But today, yes, financial stability is one thing, and finding the right person to bring the company to come into the company was very difficult. Say if we have 10 people today, we have hired more than 40 people as of now. Okay, so like attrition in startups are higher, and startups like us, because our company is most of into this deeper technology like additive manufacturing, be it augmented or virtual reality. It is into deeper technology. It needs intense research, intense skills, right skill set and right mindset. So like bringing all that together was difficult. And when you go out and say like hey, I'm running a startup in India, at least like we faced it maybe like 4 years before. Just go and say someone, hey, I'm a startup. Okay, fine, it's very good. They congratulate you, they praise you like anything, but they don't buy your product, right? They don't believe in you. So like making them believe, the make believe factor which you provided to the user was difficult for us initially, and it is difficult for any startup, any company here. And that is how like it's growing. And even when we come up with a new feature, no, you'll have to make them believe that like if this is feasible, this can be functional, this can make you make your revenues better, make your things better. I think these are the few difficulties which I faced personally, because I had a huge support system from beginning. My family was a huge support for me, and they never let me down. They never pressurized me till date, and I think that should have done wonders in our all of our lives.
Yeah, so you were talking about all this financial aspect, everything. So there is one more thing. Whenever we are starting a company, there is a profit versus loss aspect. So at the end of the day, when we need this profit, so if you are even there will be a fear of failure, whether I will be having any losses, we will be able to manage all those things to survive. So how do you manage all those kind of things?
So I wouldn't say like we haven't met losses at all. Like I think like we ran the company for almost losses. I think like even last financial year we have closed it at loss. But the thing is like, what are you losing? So losing is sacrificing, right? So for example, if you're losing your sleep, or if you're losing your 1 hour of movie time, you're gaining 1 hour of quality productive time. So that is what we see as whenever we have a loss, we just see it as a learning thing, so that we don't grieve that if we are say for example, if I lost 1 lakh or 2 lakhs, there's no point sitting and crying at a point, say I've lost 2 lakhs, but why have I lost? Doing the root cause analysis, like we engineers do that, right? Every time if there is a mistake, we just do this root cause analysis. What happened and why did it happen, how did it happen, etc., and we just calculate it. And profits, yes, profits make us very happy. All of us, profits make us all of us very happy, like all of our team. And there is one thing which we follow in Man Innovations is we do not take salaries or incentives. It is completely profit sharing. So as of now, like we're just building the company together. At least the top level people take only profit shares, or they don't work on salaries or incentives. So that has also helped us a lot. And there were days where like we had no money. Like we I think like I've survived with 10 rupees, 5 rupees and all. There were days, but it was very earlier, and I had like see like I had no experience running companies earlier, but today I would say like I have experience of running company at least for 2 years. And then you don't know how to financially manage, no? So that was difficult.
Yeah, so of course, when you are running a company, there will be different steps. Maybe starting from the beginning, and there will be different, maybe registering the company, all those kind of things. So, can you please explain what were the steps you gone through this entire process during the company
Yeah.
formation?
Sure. So, like as I said, like the first company was a partnership firm. So, for a partnership firm, the process and documents are simpler. You can just get your agreement signed. There is a partnership agreement between, say, for example, if I and you were to start a company, the partnership company, I and you can sign a partnership agreement, a deed or something, which is signed by a notary. Then get your company registered with GST and with an MSME. You can run a company with MSME and GST if it's a partnership firm. And today we have a private limited company, which is completely expensive process, maybe. At least private limited is more of the highly professional way of doing businesses, not this. When you're looking at a global scale, private limited would be a right way. And getting it private limited, I think it is a long process. You'll have to get your DIN, that is director identification number. You'll have to get a DSC, digital signature for a director. You'll have to get it registered by ROC, Registrar of Companies. Then you'll have to get, we are also start a company registered and certified by Startup India. We have a TPIIT certificate. So that is Department of Promotions and Industrial Trade. So that also is a process. You get MSME, you get GST. All these certificates are available online today. You can just go Google and you can just get it registered. And I think like it might take up to 45 days to get it registered. A private limited company, and take up to 15 days if you wanted to register it as a partnership or a proprietary firm.
Okay. So, of course, you are running your company from 2019 onwards. At 2022, if you are looking back, what would be the major strength that you feel right now?
I would say like the major strength is the ability to withstand failures. One thing, all of us have gone through a lot of hiccups in the last few years. Even like for COVID has made a huge impact on all of our lives. So I think like the ability to withstand that is one major strength. And yes, like we have learned how to stay together as a team. So that is one ability. When I go back and because I think like recently I had a talk with one of our teammate, and I was saying like earlier I was thinking I can run this company, I can build, I can become Ambani or a Ratan Tata alone. Okay, today I wouldn't believe that. I would know like if the team grows, eventually the company will grow. So these are the two things which comes into my mind.
Okay. You mentioned that your company is working on the virtual reality, augmented reality, and 3D printing. Can you just explain about that? How does it help the healthcare industry, or what you are doing for your clients?
Sure. So I'll just explain it one by one so that I don't confuse everybody. So starting with 3D printing, 3D printing is very simple aspect, and today it has been the mainstream of manufacturing in terms of implants, be it prosthetic braces. I'll show you an example. I have a prosthetic brace here. So which is a prosthetic splint here, which is 3D printed. It's just completely 3D printed. And you can see like generally if I go for a fracture, if I have a fracture, what will people do? People just wound cotton and they'll put plaster of Paris, which is not feasible enough because it is plaster of Paris is not a biocompatible material, and it is not porous enough just so that like there is perspiration happening. So what happens? You get skin rashes, you get it, and it is heavy. So what do? Is we design 3D printed, custom made 3D printed designs, and we printed, and we also do a design and analysis before we print it. Say you can see the porous structures here, no? Right. This should reduce the amount of material used. It should increase the weight. It should increase the strength and ability to stay united. So this is one example of 3D printing. Apart from this, like you can print anything. 3D printing is a manufacturing technology which is highly customized. If you wanted to build something for yourself, say you are a biomedical engineer, and if you want to build a small spare for something, okay, say like your ventilator want a spare, immediately you can't wait for a manufacturer to send it 2 weeks, 3 weeks. If you have a 3D printer, you can just print it, place it, and at least use it for a while, and then replace it when the manufacturer comes into play. So 3D printing is most of this manufacturing technology, and that is what we do for companies. And in terms of augmented and virtual reality, we work with virtual reality based training simulations. I'll give you one example. Say this is an ultrasound probe. Imagine this as an ultrasound probe, and if I had to take my brachial pulse, okay, I'm just trying to take my brachial pulse. There is a certain angle at which like the brachial pulse taps into the ultrasound transducer, right? So basically it is somewhere between 15 to 25 degrees. So if there is an inclination, proper inclination, it will detect. If I had to train you in this procedure, I can use an ultrasound probe, a GE machine or a Samsung machine to train you. This is one way of training. What we are creating is, we are creating a virtual hardware, which is connected to, not to the ultrasound machine, but to a virtual reality headset, which has a exact replica of the Samsung machine or a GE machine, so that you get trained easily, and say you don't make mistakes in training. If I train you, I might train only 30% of what I know. But if a machine trains you, you can get trained 100% in effectively. And also you don't, if you make any mistakes to the ultrasound, say being service engineers in our field,
Yeah,
no
right.
service engineer gets hands-on experience before you get into the hospital facility. And even if you place a like screwdriver or something wrong in the capacitor, the entire board is gone, right? How do you train them? You can train them using virtual reality. You can just create a virtual thing and you can just simulate it. And that is what we do for manufacturers. We simulate services, we simulate trainings, we simulate procedures. So as of now, like procedure training and services are only our focus as of now, but we are looking to expand it as well in terms of virtual reality. And apart from that, we are doing small R&D works for companies. We do research development of smart wearables, smart watches, etc.
Okay, I know you were able to shortlisted as one of the maybe top 100 startups like that. So can you just let me know what are the achievements you were able to make in this short time?
Yeah, sure. I wouldn't say it was a short time, but yeah, like the first thing I think, like we got shortlisted as top 100 startups by Amazon Sambhav Summit 2021, and we were the runner-up of global pitch competition conducted by Thai Global. And we were also shortlisted for Hexagon Manufacturing Intelligence Challenge. And we are the only two startups selected for Octane program conducted by STPI, Software Technology Parks of India. And apart from that, we also became the finalist of Tata's NASCOM COE's Tata Steel's Manufacturing Innovation Challenge, though we were not able to get into it. And so that is what a few achievements of ours in the past few years.
And looking in front, what are the future plans Machenn is having?
Yeah. So Machenn Innovations, when you see, we just wanted to make ideas happen. That is what was our initial idea. And future, as we see, Machenn Innovations is like we're just looking to build the platform immediately and launch it to and make it scale up. Every biomedical engineer, every hospital should have a virtual manual run by Machenn Innovations for any of their equipments, is what we are looking at as a future of Machenn Innovations. And we you can just go check our website. We call ourselves as future of manufacturing. So there are a lot of things happening, milestones to be achieved in the pipeline. So I don't want to disclose it one by one, but yeah, like we'll be seeing our social media handles, and I think like there will be a lot of milestones coming up in the next few months.
Okay, I'm sure there will be many biomedical engineering graduates and students, or maybe the startup aspirants also watching this video. So, what are the suggestions you are having to them?
Suggestions is like I would start with identifying the goal is the first thing which we can all do, right? What see, like if I had to travel to Oman, I know what is the way to travel to Oman, or else like I'll just become a nomad, right? So like we are all nomads in terms of career. We don't know where to go. Like most of the biomedical engineering freshers at least don't know where to go and what to do, right? We are stuck in a maze. Like whatever comes into us, like we just grab it and take it. So that is a nomadic lifestyle. So I would not suggest that for a professional way of living. Say just fix in, if I wanted to be a service engineer, where should I become a service engineer, what equipment? And then you just need small skills, no? Say being a service engineer, be it an entrepreneur, I don't know everything. I just know few things, and I'm good at it. Okay, at least I'm good at it and getting better at it. But learning hundreds of things all together and putting it in one place doesn't help at all. So just need maybe like 3 or 4 subjects a day. And also a suggestion for biomedical engineers is don't fall for salaries. This is my personal suggestion. It might differ per personality, per situation. Don't fall for salaries, because service companies do provide a lot of salaries in terms of IT services. I'm talking about IT services. I personally, as a human being, do not recommend or do not feel comfortable biomedical engineers, be it mechanical engineers getting placed in IT services companies. Apart from getting good salaries, I don't see a future potential there. But yes, like manufacturing companies in India are expected to grow in the next coming years. To skill up every day, spend 30 minutes every day to skill up yourself. And yes, definitely there will be some there is always light at the end of the tunnel. So you can definitely grow someday. And everybody has their own successful path, right? There is no path to be followed. You create your own path and you become successful, and your success is not defined anywhere.
Yeah, that was a great suggestion that you can give to any biomedical engineering students or graduates. And thank you so much for sharing your valuable time and knowledge. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time and giving me the opportunity to deliver it to maybe like 1,000, 10,000 people. Let it reach 1 million people, and soon your channel and your initiative, let it grow as a rapid fire. And wishing you all the best for that as well. And thank you so much.